Director, Sales and Marketing, HMSI. Can I invite President FADA, Mr. Vigneshwar? I think he just stepped out. If someone can volunteer to call him inside the hall. Yeah, I can see him. Mr. Vigneshwar is here, and along with him, I'd like to call on stage Mr. Yogesh Mathur, Director, Sales and Marketing, HMSI. Right, we are sending a word for him as well to join us on the stage. He will just be here with us shortly. And this is the announcement on OEM dealer agreement with Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India. Well, this is on the lines of FADA's model dealer agreement, and HMSI has implemented it wholeheartedly, I'd say. Mr. Mathur is here with us. Well, as we would like to acknowledge the HMSI's contribution, I'll just tell all of you that FADA is delighted to felicitate Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India for embracing progressive reforms in its dealer agreement and business operations. Can we please have the memento? In fact, HMSI has implemented more than 50% of the recommendations we shared through FADA's model dealer agreement, demonstrating genuine responsiveness to dealer concerns. From timely information sharing, fair business planning and transparent appointment processes to keeping security deposits reasonable, not burdening dealers with training or warranty costs, and extending defined advertising support, HMSI has set a benchmark for collaborative, dealer-friendly practices. We truly applaud HMSI for partnering with its dealers in shaping a more equitable and transparent retail ecosystem. Thank you so much, Mr. Mathur. Thank you, Mr. Vigneshwar, for that. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving towards another important segment this evening, and that is related to the 5th Dealer Satisfaction Study for OEMs presentation. And for this, I'd like to call on stage Mr. Rahul Sharma, COO and Director, PremonAsia India, and Mr. Amar Jatin Sheth, Secretary, FADA, to please give a brief presentation on 5th Dealer Satisfaction Study for OEMs. Mr. Sheth, I'll hand over the mic to you to take it forward.
Thank you very much. So this dealer satisfaction survey is becoming, I think, another survey that we do, gaining a lot of momentum. This year we got more than 2,000 responses from across the country, from across brands and across segments. So I think that is something that we were really excited about and happy about, that we were able to get this type of response. Of course, it requires a little bit of push, and what really helped this time around was that the OEMs themselves also saw that this survey gives good inputs to them, and they were actually asking their dealers to go and fill it, and it gets filled up, and none of us at FADA know who fills it, when is it filled. So it's totally anonymous, and that gives the survey its strength and its credibility. I think the PremonAsia team deserves a real round of applause for going through all these inputs that come in, and like in the auto industry, all the inputs come in on the last day. There is always the month end that we all are tuned somehow to chase. So when they get all their information coming in, it generally comes in at the fag end, and they need to work overtime to make sure that the results are out. So thank you, Rahulji and Shobhit, for all your inputs, and I think I'll hand it over to you now, where you can explain the methodology and the insights that come out of this.
Thank you, Amarji. Quickly, not taking too much of your time, most of us, being the 5th edition, most of us are now used to this. But just to, kind of remind you, massive participation this time. We had close to about 2,000 odd responses. there were a few that required cleaning, and essentially their cleaning happened because, some of us had filled it twice, some of us had filled it, for more than one outlet at the same time, and so on and so forth. But still, we got one of the highest responses in this edition of DSS. And as Amar was mentioning, I think it is a currency that we have built over time. Obviously, the two-wheeler segment led with the kind of, with the nature of number of dealerships and the distribution that they have, followed by the four-wheeler mass market and CV and three-wheelers. These were the individual, participants by brand that they were there. The ones in dark gray are the ones that are that have been analyzed and reported. The ones in red is a special mark that I would like to mention, and I think Amar would agree with me that OEMs need to push their dealers to actually take in the survey, so that larger number of responses can be analyzed, a larger OEMs can be analyzed, which enhances the competition, excites both FADA and us. The process, moreover, remains the same as was last year, but this year again we went to the dealer fraternity, picked up some selected dealers, ran the questionnaire again for changes within the kind of areas that they would have liked to change. There was one important change that we made, and I would like to look at FADA actually pushing us to do a multilingual kind of survey filling. So this was the first time where the survey was available in, I think, some 8 or 9 languages. And, people had the choice to choose their own language to look at the survey and fill it accordingly. The same methodology, as I said, not spending too much time, but there were about 6 factors that we analyzed the entire dealer and OEM relationships on, with about 60 odd attributes. Slightly longer for a dealer, but I can assure you it's time really well spent, because the way OEMs have started taking it seriously, I think that in itself goes a long way to talk about the validity of this survey. Just to give you an overview, the first thing that we look at is what are the factors that are important to the dealer. If you actually see business viability and after sales and sales have almost remained the same over time. In fact, business viability 2021 was an aberration. It was just post-COVID, so obviously business viability was under a lot of stress. So it assumed that greater importance at that point in time. But after sales is the one that has actually increased, and this actually varies from segment to segment of the industry. So if you actually look at, for example, four-wheelers, more or less your business viability, your after sales and your sales and order planning, almost about 60-65% of the, let us say, the overall dealer's mind space is captured with that. But look at something like CV, where after sales service is that much more important. It is almost about 28%, goes up to 35% in three-wheelers. CV, the marketing itself has assumed greater importance as a factor, whereas it is relatively of lower importance in the four-wheeler and the two-wheeler section. If we look at the scores, there has been a general rising trend of scores across the industry, and which is reflected in almost all the segments that we have. Three-wheeler, we got a good sample this time, so we were able to analyze three-wheelers after 2021 study, and therefore you see slightly an aberration in the three-wheeler index, but more or less it seems that there is a certain kind of a stabilization that is coming in the index at about 770, 775 across the industry segments. And therefore, there is this variation goes on to show the dynamic nature of both the industry and all our dealers that we are a part of. If we look at it from a factor point of view, business viability and policy remains important and is the lowest scoring factor, understandable because that is where all the monies are concerned. And I think that is what makes it, more important, and therefore, there is a lesser score there. But if you actually look at it, is after sales that is also almost I would say the second lowest in terms of this thing, which is assuming greater importance. With having a lower score and something that is getting more important is an area of concern. And therefore, the OEMs need to, kind of look at it that much more seriously. Now, if you actually look at it across segments also, for business viability and policy, for almost all the segments, it is low. But if you actually look at after sales and training, you get almost a similar kind of a score, which means that these are two areas that are being highlighted, and we have been speaking about it since the beginning of this session, that these are areas that probably OEMs need to work with dealers to actually kind of enhance the satisfaction levels. Key strengths are product. The products dealers say are a industry strength, and it needs to be like that. But it is essentially viability that is creating a rough edge. Even after sales buyback and write-off policy of unsold inventory is actually a viability issue, and therefore it is actually business and viability emanating from things like buyback policy, concern on ensuring viability, which has the dealer fraternity a little worried. There is some impact analysis that we do, and one of the top ones that came was that about 50% dealers said that yes, the OEM provides support for aging vehicle stock. Now that 50% gives us an additional score of 105 over whatever our score is what we have got. Again, if you actually look at the first two or the first three, these are again issues that are related to viability. Just to end the information areas that we actually look at is, it is days taken for settlement of warranty claims, which obviously the top two are lesser as compared to the bottom three, and I think those are areas that dealers would like us to work on. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahulji, giving all the details, and executive summary of this report will be sent to everyone, and more details, of course, are then available with PremonAsia. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you, and in order to express our gratitude to our valuable knowledge partner, Mr. Rahul, can we please have a memento that Mr. Amar Jatin Sheth will be presenting to Mr. Rahul Sharma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving towards our very important panel discussion, which will follow this detailed presentation which was just presented to you by Mr. Rahul Sharma on the Dealer Satisfaction Study 2025. And the matter of discussion for this panel is strengths and opportunities that emerge following the study which was conducted in 2025. I will be calling one by one all our speakers for this very important session. I'm sure all of you are keenly looking forward to it. And once we are ready with the arrangements here on the stage, we will quickly commence with the panel discussion. Dealer Satisfaction Study 2025 and strengths and opportunities that have been identified from the study are going to be discussed by our panelists here. Ladies and gentlemen, this will also be followed with the presentation of awards for Dealer Satisfaction Study 2025. That will be, once the panel discussion is over, we'll follow the flow of the events as mentioned earlier. Can we start placing the nameplates, please? As you can understand, it's going to be a big panel with 8 speakers and our moderator. So please bear with us for a few more minutes as we just make the arrangements on the stage, and then soon after that we'll commence with the panel discussion. And in the meantime that we're making these arrangements, let's once again play the video of our campaign, Dealership for Good, that you witnessed earlier in the day. So if we have the video ready, you can perhaps take a look at the campaign once again.